So what could we get addicted to? Is it just like drugs? And again, like this is again a place where people make the mistake of conflating what is addicting and what gets you high, and the kind of the conflation of getting high and getting and using a drug that's addicting, and the two are not the same. You know, there are many things in our lives that are addicting that we don't think of as getting a high from. No one really thinks of getting a high from drinking a cup of coffee in the morning. It's kind of a staple. It's what you need to do to get the day going. It's not seen as a high. Most cigarette smokers don't see, their cigarette smoking as getting high. It's just what they do to relax, or whatever people say, but at the same time, there are plenty of things that could get us really, really high that are not addicting. For example, most hallucinogens are not addicting. Yet I don't think there's anything out there that is more profound of an inebriant than something that makes you think you could see through walls and colors blending. And I've never been on LSD, but I imagine it's phenomenal. And yet it's not an addicting substance. It's not. So what's an inebriant and what's addicting is very different too. And I think, I think that's a big factor to kind of understand and to delineate. So yeah, we could be addicted. And again, one of the reasons I want to say that is because, today's cultural movement is there's a lot of debate about cannabis and cannabis use, and I just want to make it clear that I think, based on the definition of addiction that I kind of suggested before, maybe I should reiterate, cannabis is addicting. Coffee is addicting. That is, caffeine is addicting. Nicotine is addicting. Certain foods and certain additives are addicting. They were designed to be addicting so that these major manufacturers could sell their products. But the reason I'm saying that these things are addicting is because they happen to disrupt the circuitry that I mentioned before. That's the only part that matters to me. It's a very basic biological definition, and it simplifies everything. If it's a substance, a food, or a behavior, or a drug, illicit, legal or illegal, prescribed, or gotten in the alleyway, if it disrupts the circuitry of motivation, reward, impulse control, of the areas of the brain associated with the prefrontal cortex and the nucleus accumbens and the amygdala, then that is what constitutes an addictive substance. Now, it doesn't mean that substance gets you high. It doesn't mean that it's illegal. But that's just what I think. If we could accept that as the basic definition, we could then build our understanding without bias or prejudice. So, it's wild because, if we start thinking that food could be addicting, it gets even weirder because, with more, modern understanding of our GI tract and the gut biome, we know that even our cravings for food is mediated and oftentimes dictated by the cravings that bacteria have inside our GI tract. So even the question of who's addicted is kind of interesting, because we think of ourselves as individuals, but we're a collection of our own cells and many unicellular and small multicellular organisms. And it's the concert of all of our existences together that somehow manifests as our individual desire and drives. So I'm not even sure who gets addicted. I'm not even sure if it's really us or, some kind of population of us.